What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we are back with another Mock Draft Monday. And if this is your first time here on the channel, every Monday for the last few weeks now, we have been hopping in here. We've been doing a live stream where we do a underdog fantasy draft. I treat these as mock drafts for my other leagues, but these are real drafts. Today, we are going to be playing in the weekly winners tournament over there on Underdog. It is a $3.5 million prize pot. So lots of money to go around for winners in that tournament. We are going to be doing a little bit of a different strategy today. So over here, we've done zero RB, we've done hero RB, but we haven't ever done double hero RB. But I'm also throwing in the twist of an elite tight end being thrown in the mix as well. So double hero RB, bully tight end. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's what we're doing today. So the plan here is to have 3 or 4 running backs through the top 10 rounds. Probably only have 2 of them for like the first 7. We're going to draft them early. We're going to draft one of the top 3 tight ends, in my opinion, which are going to be Kelsey, Andrews, or Hawkinson. And then we're going to try and have at least 5 or 6 wide receivers through the rest of those. So we are going to be punting the quarterback position today. But with all that being said, I say we just hop right into this draft. I mean, we don't really got to waste any more time. Like I said, bully or double hero RB, bully tight end. That's kind of what we're doing today. So let me swap it over to this. We'll pull this overlay on. And like I said, if this is your first time over in these drafts, we just kind of kick it. We talk some fantasy football. We talk NFL. We talk real life. We talk whatever you want. So if you want to ask me anything, go ahead and ask me something in the comments below. And for those of you who are new, we recently did a video where we talked about Trey Lance. And so I had to throw it on today, man. I had to throw the Trey Lance jersey on in, I guess it's just a sign of, I don't know, in loving memory of Trey Lance, because what we thought Trey Lance was going to be and what I thought Trey Lance was going to be is no more. We kind of came to terms with that at the beginning of this offseason, but it is official, man. He is going to be trapped and locked behind Dak Prescott for a while now. So it is what it is, man. But you see, the draft has started. We are drafting from the 6th spot in this draft today. So hopefully we get a chance at Kelsey right there. That would be pretty nice to get some Travis Kelsey. If not, we definitely will take CMC Eckler or Bijan to start this double hero RB build. So the first 2 guys off the board here, you see them, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and we're just hoping that we get one of those guys, right? We're hoping that we get Christian McCaffrey. We're hoping that we get Kelsey. We're hoping that we get Eckler, Bijan, one of them. I see Brett in here. He says, give me Reek, Kelsey too. And Brett, I don't know if you just hopped in, but we're doing a double hero RB build with a bully tight end. So we're going for that bully build for the running backs today. So you see Christian McCaffrey off the board. He said, oh, never mind. I didn't know we were doing double RB. Give me Bijan. Yeah, that would be nice. That might be what we do. And you see Kelsey off the board. So that makes us have to make a pick. And let's do it, Brett. Let's take Bijan Robinson. He is my RB3 in my redraft rankings this year. So don't mind grabbing Bijan there. What you want to do with this double hero RB is you want to take as many shots as possible as guys who you think can finish at the top of the position. So the RB1 number or overall. Obviously, I think Austin Eckler could do it. He's done it in years past. But give me Bijan, man. So after Bijan, we did have Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, and that's kind of funny because we are seeing a little bit. I would say normally we don't see 4 running backs in those top 9. That's not usually what I've been seeing, but it looks like this draft a lot of people are going to go for those RBs. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Our main goal is that they're in round 3 at pick 30 or round 4 at pick 43. we're going to be trying to go Andrews or TJ Hawkinson in those picks, preferably Andrews in round 3. But if we get sniped or we miss out on Andrews in round 3, we will be going for TJ Hawkinson in round 4. So that is the plan there. If not, it's fine. We will load up on the wide receivers because if it's not the top 3, I don't care. I've been saying it all off season. And Brett says Andrews early. Yeah, that's the plan, man. We're going to try and get Andrews as we come back around on the 3rd. So you see here, after Austin Eckler going there at the 9th pick, we did have Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're in a pretty good draft here because if you guys aren't familiar with what these little badges mean, there are badges on some of these players' names. You see them on NPAM Lane. You see them on Feel Gnarly. You see them on ATG. That red and white badge means that they've participated in over 1,000 drafts on Underdog Fantasy. And then the black and white is over 500. So we are on the clock here. We are going to be wanting to look at potentially running backs that we'd be okay drafting. I think there is another guy that could finish very high at the top of the position. It is going to be Josh Jacobs, and he's back, man. He signed a deal. He's ready to go. I think he's a value in these drafts. So we're going to start off our build with Bijan Robinson and Josh Jacobs, and those will be our 2 running backs. And now we are not touching the running back position until at least round 7. So we're going to have to go at some other positions. And Brett says, you said you're doing bully tight ends. So who are the bully tight end to you? Is it just the top 3? Yeah, I think those are the difference makers at the position. I think it's obviously Kelsey Andrews, and then I think Hawkinson is too. So those are my bully tight ends. We want one of those 3. We want 2 of the hero RBs, 2 running backs that we think could finish as the RB1 this year. We just want to take those shots. And so I think we have that with what we have right now. Bijan and Josh Jacobs, those are 2 guys that are going to see a ton of volume, should see a ton of work in the receiving game. And at the end of the day, we're anchoring our team to these guys. So let's hope that they're successful. Let's hope we avoid injury. But we want to build our team around that. So now the optimal draft pick here at pick 30 will be Mark Andrews. If we can land Andrews here, this draft started off perfectly for us. And if we don't land Andrews, like I said, we'll push it and see if we can get Hawkinson later. So if you're familiar with the NFL and their dates, today is the day that they are going to be cutting down rosters. We have seen some guys cut already, and it does look like the Arizona Cardinals do have a little bit of you see Mark Andrews off the board. It is what it is. Let's check the ADP of Hawkinson. Not sure where he's at right now. Yeah, we should probably be able to get Hawkinson with the next pick. So here we'll take a wide receiver. But it sounds like the Cardinals have a little bit of a quarterback controversy right now. They've cut Colt McCoy, who a lot presumed would be the starter, but he did struggle in the preseason. And you see we're on the board here. I'm gonna go Keenan Allen here. I think Keenan Allen is going to ball out this year. We're gonna take some Keenan Allen, and he's gonna be our wide receiver 1. But the Arizona Cardinals, it looks like they might be going with Joshua Dobbs as the starting quarterback this season, or at least to start the year. Maybe it's Clayton Tune. But Colt McCoy was cut today, and that was kind of a surprise to me. I'm sure it was a surprise to others because he did seem like he was a presumed starter over there in Arizona. So since our Josh Jacobs pick, we did have that quarterback run. It was Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Chris Olave, and then obviously we got sniped with our bully tight end Mark Andrews. Then we did have T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. I really wanted Jalen Waddle there, but we settled for Keenan Allen. Then Jonathan Taylor off the board, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and we are hoping that T.J. Hawkinson flips around the turn for us. Otherwise, we might have to give up on that tight end idea of getting one of the top 3 elite tight ends. I know a lot of people are rising on Darren Waller. I'm not rising as high as everybody else, but I think he's going to have a pretty significant target share. We did do a Giants team review the other night. It is coming out this Wednesday, so you'll hear my thoughts a little bit more on that one if you guys want to tap into that. And Brett says, Keenan, hashtag pray for health. Keenan Allen actually has been healthy for the most part over the last few years. And so I just think he's going to get a lot of receptions. I think they're going to use him a lot in that Kellen Moore offense. You see Darren Waller off the board. So hopefully Hawkinson does continue to fall. And then Brett also says Cardinals, hashtag tank for Caleb, hashtag trade Kyler. Yeah, man. I mean, it looks like they might tank for Caleb. Kyler Murray did not make it off of the pup before week 1, which I don't think was really a surprise to a lot of people, but that does mean that he is going to miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season. So he is on the reserve pup list for now. We'll see when he returns, but I think the rushing upside of Kyler Murray will be capped this year for the most part. But if Kyler Murray can get in, I think he'd save his job. It's a matter, does Kyler Murray want to save his job? Because it's not a matter of if Kyler Murray is going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's a matter of if Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Because Kyler Murray is, I would put him in the top 15 NFL quarterbacks right now. I think he is definitely top half. So yeah, he's going to be a starting quarterback for somebody. And you see, we did get TJ Hawkinson to fall, so we are going to get one of our bully tight ends. So we are starting this draft off with Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Keenan Allen, and TJ Hawkinson. And so now we have to get active at this wide receiver position for at least 3 more rounds. That's really the goal here. So we did land Josh Jacobs in the first round, or Bijan Robinson in the first round. We did land Josh Jacobs in the second round, Keenan Allen, and then TJ Hawkinson. Sorry, I'm taking notes over here because I want to make sure that we follow our plan. I'm the man with the plan today. I wanted to try this strategy out because we haven't ever tried it before. And Brett says, "Give me the Herbert stack, or are you punting QB?" So because we are targeting the tight end position early, because we are targeting 2 running backs early, we are going to be punting the QB. I will show you kind of my list or my range of guys that I'm going to be looking at. I'm kind of looking for my first guy to be in this range of like, did he get? He didn't get drafted. Am I tripping? No. Okay, we're good. I'm looking for my first guy to be kind of in the range of like Geno Smith, Jared Goff, Derek Carr. My second guy will be like a Jordan Love, Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy, and then I am going to have a third guy on this roster. It will be like a Bryce Young, Desmond Ritter, Sam Howell kind of pick there. So that is kind of what we're doing with this one. We're going to punt the QB. That's really the short answer to your question is yes, we are punting the QB. But at least for rounds 5, 6, and 7, probably we will get after the wide receiver position. So the idea here is that the wide receivers, they're more likely to fluctuate in points. So you can have a guy like Christian Watson, for example, who just got drafted as the 50th player off the board. He can have a 20-point week easier than it is for a guy like Tank Bigsby to have a 20-point week, right? So you want to have as many of these wide receivers as possible. You can flip them through. It's a best ball format, so they are going to plug in the best lineup every single week. But we're trying to anchor that running back position every single week with those top 2 guys that we just drafted. So what we will do is I am going to end up drafting Brandon Ayuk, and we're going to try and stack him later on. There's a pretty good value on Najee right here. But like I said, we were punting that after we took the 2. We're not taking another running back till later, but we are going to try and stack Ayuk later with a Brock Purdy. I think that would be ideal. And just some more news. I'm just going to keep going through this. We will talk about some of the. I'll pull it up on my phone. Just give me a second. We'll talk about some of the guys being cut. I'll let you know kind of what's been surprising to me, what's not been surprising. But there's still going to be more rolling in. It's I think for the most part, pretty predictable. But obviously, the one that I talked about at the top of the show, quarterback Colt McCoy was cut from the Arizona Cardinals. So that was interesting to me because I would have picked him as the guy who I thought would probably get the week 1 start. But it doesn't look like he's going to get that anymore. If you are in to Dynasty Fantasy Football, which that's kind of the origin story of this channel, of this show, is Dynasty Fantasy Football. Frank Darby was cut from the Falcons. He was kind of a gem that people were looking at last year. Didn't pan out. He kind of got another shot and it didn't pan out again. So Frank Darby is what it is. And keep in mind, we're going to be talking deep cuts of all these guys. Wide receiver Isaiah Coulter was cut from the Buffalo Bills. Somebody that people were looking at. Another one that I found interesting was PJ Walker was cut from the Bears. They did sign him this offseason to kind of be the backup to Justin Fields. Seems like he was outplayed by, pardon me if I mess up his name, Tyler Bagent. He was outplayed by him. So it looks like Bagent will get the QB2 spot. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for them because the only other guy on the roster, I think, is Nathan Peterman. So Brett says he was surprised by PJ. And then let me kind of just keep recapping where we're at with this because Gabe Davis, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, George Kittle, George Pickens, Damian Pierce, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin, and Zay Flowers came off the board. We're up in just a couple picks. And definitely wouldn't mind for us to grab like a Terry McLaurin or a Christian Kirk. I think those are kind of actually we probably can't grab Christian Kirk because of bye weeks right now. So we will go with a Mike. Ooh, I don't like that. Dealing with a groin injury would have been okay to set up. We're going to take him. Actually, you know what? We're just going to, I know I said I can't do it because of the bye week. We're going to go Christian Kirk anyways. We just won't target a week 9 bye later down the road. So we will go Christian Kirk there. And then with our next pick, we could look at running back if there was a value, but I'm not necessarily trying to go running back just yet. We probably will go one more wide receiver. So, I mean, I'll keep going through some of these cuts. Cade York, kicker for the Browns, they drafted him highly a few years back. He was cut. Anthony Schwartz, their wide receiver, got a injury designation cut, so he kind of got paid out to leave the team. So that was something interesting. Kendall Hinton, if you have been playing fantasy for the last couple of years, he's the wide receiver for the Broncos that ended up playing some quarterback that one game. He was cut. Mo Ibrahim out of Minnesota. He was a rookie, undrafted running back. He was really good before he tore an Achilles, and he got cut from the Lions, as well as Denzel Mims was cut from them as well. So that trade for Mims didn't actually end up working out for them. Christian Kirksey was cut from the Houston Texans, which is, I thought he was going to be a veteran linebacker for them. I thought he was going to hold down that middle linebacker spot for him this season. But Christian Kirksey is cut from the Houston Texans. And you see we're back up on the clock here in a minute. And I like these running backs, man, but we are going to give it one more go. I think it'd be beneficial for us to grab a Hollywood Brown or a Jackson Smith and Jigba if we can. But I think more so I would like to grab like a Hollywood Brown. So we are going to grab, I kind of think Judy is a value, but with him expected to miss several weeks, I don't see the gap as big as I do between them. Brett says Addison. Yeah, I like Addison. I have a lot of Addison this offseason, though. I've been drafting him a lot. His ADP has risen since the beginning of the preseason. You were getting him probably 3 rounds later a month ago, and that's when I got a lot of Jordan Addison. So at this point, because the ADP has risen, I'm just going to kind of hold the shares that I have that I've gotten later in the drafts. And now he's at a point where I don't know. I'm not drafting a lot of Jordan Addison right now at current ADP, but I do think he's going to be I think he could potentially push for offensive rookie of the year. I think he could potentially do it. So, where was I at? Oh, the Indianapolis Colts had Kenyon Drake get cut. Probably not a surprise to many. Let's see. Here's one. Larry Roundtree, running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. He was cut. So looks like Isaiah Spiller or Joshua Kelly are going to be the primary backup to um, Austin Eckler. But what that tells me is that their undrafted rookie that has been showing out in the preseason, he outplayed Roundtree and took his job. So that was, I don't want to say good to see, but it was fun because when you have an undrafted rookie like that play so well, you want to see him make a team. So if we can have a running back fall here, I would not mind that one. Just pick up another one, and let's see who's on the board. Dalvin Cook's on the board. Wouldn't mind a Dalvin Cook maybe. Um, but I don't think he's as valuable as a pick as a guy like Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is probably more valuable right now than that Dalvin Cook is, especially considering that we went anchor or double anchored, double hero RB, and I'm just gonna take Michael Thomas there. We're gonna try and grab one. We do need to grab another running back, maybe two running backs, as we approach, because like I said at the beginning of the show, our goal here was to have at least 5 to 6 wide receivers through the first 10 rounds. And we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we probably want one more wide receiver, and we needed 3 to 4 running backs. So we probably need 1 or 2 more running backs. So that's kind of how we're going to play. We might end up going, depending on the value, double running back, but maybe 1 and 1. So we'll just see how it plays out. We might be able to just get Dalvin Cook at the next pick, but that's to be seen. I also wouldn't mind going like an Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson could be a fine pick there as well. The whole point of this double hero RB actually is that you're trying to avoid that running back dead zone. And that's kind of what we're in right now with the Isaiah Pacheco's, the Khalil Herberts, the DeAndre Swifts. That is the running back dead zone. So we are trying to avoid those guys, get 2 of the elite ones, and then now fill out the roster underneath. So you see Brian Robinson off the board. Maybe we are going to get a Dalvin Cook. I do prefer Dalvin over Antonio Gibson, but I would take either of those guys at this point. And as we look at the wide receivers, like there's not really a lot of guys in this tier that I like. I'm not a big Treylon or a Bateman or an Odell or a Tony. I'm not a big guy on either of those. Brett says, I was wanting Gibson in my draft last night, got stuck with AJ Dillon. Yeah, man, I'm not super big on Dillon this year. I don't think the Packers offense is going to be that good. It's going to be interesting to see, but obviously AJ Dillon is one of those high end handcuffs that if something happened to, why am I spacing his name? Aaron Jones. He's on the damn thumbnail of this video. If something happened to Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon would be very, very good for fantasy football. So you see, Dalvin Cook goes. We do land Antonio Gibson, so we're going to go Antonio Gibson here, and that will be our pick. So right now we have a team. Let's just kind of recap where we're at, because we're about halfway done with this draft at this point. So we have Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs. Those are the double hero, double anchor, whatever the hell you want to call it, running backs that we got. Following that, we wanted to go heavy in on the wide receiver position and grab one of those elite tight ends. So we went Keenan Allen, TJ Hawkinson, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Michael Thomas, and then we came back and grabbed an RB3, Antonio Gibson here in the 9th round. As we approach this 10th round, obviously, we're still looking just running back and wide receiver. And then as we get into these rounds here, where it is 11 to 18, we're going to need to add a backup tight end. And we're also going to need to add, obviously, our quarterback position. We want to draft 2 to 3 guys in that quarterback position. So ideally, I think around 11, if we could grab a guy like Geno Smith in round 11, I would feel very good about that. And then obviously we're just going to be kind of going back and forth with that. So that's where we're at this point in the draft. Wanted to continue going through some of these cuts. Trace McSorley was cut from the Patriots, which means Malik Malik Cunningham makes the team out of Cincinnati. Brett says, hold on, there's a question in here. Brett does say, who is your favorite late round tight end? That's a good question, man. I feel like this year, who I've been drafting a lot of has been Cole Kmet. I've been drafting a lot of Cole Kmet late. I do like Dalton Schultz late. And then if you get even deeper than that, like I feel like a Greg Dulcich is being very, very undervalued at this point. Coming off the board as tight end 22, I feel like he could be a value. And then I also do like Trey McBride. He's virtually undrafted. So those are kind of guys that I like. I would say Cole Kmet, Dalton Schultz, Dulcich, and McBride. So we are about to be back on the clock. As we look at this draft board, there is another potential league winning running back that I see here, and I hope that we can draft him because we were talking about this on the show last night, right? Brett says taking notes for our draft this weekend. Yeah. Hey, you're the guy who's been tapping in, so you're getting all the sneak peeks. So it is what it is. Good thing is we don't necessarily draft very close to each other, so it's not like you can snipe me that often. But we were talking about this last night. If DeAndre Swift gets hurt, Rashad Penny looks like he could be a league-winning running back for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I know I said if Penny gets hurt. If Swift gets hurt, Penny gets hurt as well. So we're just going to take Penny. He's going to be one of those guys that we hope can have some upside to him and see what happens. So we'll take Penny there. But I feel very good about this running back room so far. We probably will add 2 more guys to it before we're all said and done. But for the most part, we're pretty good here. We did get sniped on Geno though. But I don't mind going like a Jared Goff. We could get a Jared Goff here with this next pick. Brett says, "Am I wrong? I heard rumors that they have Gainwell at the top of the depth chart to start, or he looked like the first string in preseason." So here's the thing, Brett. They've each game, like Swift sat out because he was a starter, so he sat out their last preseason game. There was a game where Penny didn't play. There was a game where Gainwell didn't play. Like they've been all over the place. But I think what it's projected as right now is that Penny is the early down back. Swift is a change of pace, and it looks like Gainwell is like a receiving back / return man. That's kind of what it looks like to me. Obviously, Gainwell could be a very easy plug and play handcuff to DeAndre Swift because they do play somewhat similarly. But Penny does look like he's the early grinder for that first and second down role that they have over there. I would really like to get Jared Goff here. That would be our ideal pick. And I don't think we have to worry about it because this guy has 2 quarterbacks already. So we are going to try and get Jared Goff. He will be the first quarterback for us of 3. But just because Jared Goff has a week 9 bye, that means that we cannot get Brock Purdy anymore because he has a week 9 bye. So we will swap Purdy for Kenny Pickett. That will be our next target. Will be Kenny Pickett as our QB2. I guess probably Carr or Pickett. That's what we will look at for QB2. But they have 144, 152. Our next pick is going to be 139. So we will try and get Pickett here at 150, most likely. Which means that our next pick, we probably have to go back to that wide receiver room. That is probably our next piece of business that we have to handle over here. But there have been a lot of picks since we last talked about it. I think the last pick that we kind of walked up to was our Antonio Gibson pick. So as we came around the turn, Njoku, Bateman, Dillon, Daniel Jones, Jamal Williams, and Aaron Rodgers came off the board. Obviously, a good value on Jamal Williams with Alvin Kamara missing some games to start the season. Daniel Jones, I think a good value down here as well. I've been drafting a lot of Juju Smith-Schuster, and then Freiermuth, Zach Charbonnet, Treylon Burks, Odell Beckham, Kirk Cousins. We took Penny, then Jerick McKinnon, Jalen Warren, Geno Smith. Good value on Geno Smith here. Tyler Boyd, Tank Bigsby, Zay Jones, Jordan Love, Tyler Algier, Dalton Kincaid, Nico Collins. And then we took Jared Goff, who I think should have been drafted above Jared or Jordan Love. And then we also had Samaje Perine, MVS, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, Cole Kmet, Alan Lazard, Elijah Mitchell, Darnell Mooney, Raheem Mostert, Juwan Johnson, all off the board, and then KJ Osborne. So as we approach this one for us, like I said, we are going to be looking at the wide receiver position, which sucks that I said we can't look at week 9 again, because Marvin Mims does look like the best player available on the board. And honestly, he looks like the best player available on the board by a pretty significant amount to me. I guess maybe not a significant amount. I guess him and Rashee Rice probably have the same upside. So we will go with Rashee Rice here because of the different bye week, and then we'll just buy into the Pat Mahomes offense. But as our next pick comes around, we will be looking at that quarterback. So it will be Carr or Kenny Pickett that we will be looking at here with this next pick. Sorry, Brett, I missed this one earlier. You said Bam Knight getting released by the Jets was kind of surprising because he's been playing good in preseason, but our RB is pretty deep. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the addition of Dalvin Cook means that you have to get rid of somebody, and Bam is UDFA, undrafted free agent. You drafted Izzy Abanikanda and obviously Breece Hall and those other guys, Michael Carter on the team. So somebody had to go. It's just unfortunate for Bam Knight. It just shows you that draft capital, if you don't have it, you're easily expendable. And even if you do have it, sometimes you're easily expendable. So it's just tough at the running back position. But I agree. Bam will probably get picked up here in the next couple of days to be on the back end of somebody's roster. You see, right after we picked, just like I said, Marvin Mims seemed like the best player on the board for me, but because of bye weeks, we went with Rashee Rice, but he was picked right immediately. And then Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Hyatt, Luke Musgrave, Van Jefferson. And as we slowly approach our next pick, obviously, like I said, we will be looking at Derek Carr or Kenny Pickett, Roschon Johnson off the board. And keep in mind, this is a weekly winners, so it's not. I wouldn't normally suggest handcuffing any of your starting running backs in best ball, but this weekly winners is more like a redraft or a single season format type of play. So because of that, I think there's an exception to where, like, if there was a Zamir White late, I think he's the clear backup to Josh Jacobs. So if there was a Zamir White chance to pick him up later, we could handcuff that and do that. Brett in here, he says Marvin Mims hype train. And yeah, man, I think the hype train is slowly starting to pick up. And he's good, man. He's a good player. It's just a matter of yeah, man. I mean, it's just a matter of how long is Judy out? That's really the question for me. If Judy misses like 2 weeks, maybe Marvin Mims doesn't have enough time to pick it up. But if Judy misses 6 weeks, then, there is enough time. And so Derek Carr does fall. So we will take Derek Carr here and get our Michael Thomas stack. So I know we said we were going to target the Brandon Ayuk stack with Brock Purdy. We don't get it. So we do get the Derek Carr, Michael Thomas stack. And I might even go Kenny Pickett if he's there on the next pick. If Kenny Pickett's there, I will take him. And let's see, how many more rounds do we have left? I think we have 5 rounds. Yeah, 5 rounds left in this draft. So, yeah, have you guys had any drafts recently for your leagues? If so, type out your teams in the chat. I'll let you know my opinions on the rosters, and we can kind of grade them out here as well. So if you did complete a draft here recently, go ahead and put it in the chat. I will give you my opinions on your team. So after after Derek Carr, Jonathan Mingo comes off the board, Dalton Schultz off the board, Russell Wilson off the board, Kenny Pickett off the board, Isaiah Hodgins and Sam Howell. So it looks like we do have a small quarterback run, which is fine. We will take one later, maybe a Desmond Ridder, and just hope that he gets some play time in our lineup maybe. And Brett says I am fairly high on Pickett myself. Yeah, man, I think he's going to take that year 2 leap. I really do. He's one of the guys that I've recently made a video about, undervalued quarterbacks for fantasy football in 2023. And funny enough, Derek Carr was in that video, Kenny Pickett's in that video, and Geno Smith is in that video. But I think Kenny Pickett looked good in the preseason. I think he has a good coaching staff. Obviously, he has good weapons around him. Offensive line should be better. I think Kenny Pickett's going to take a leap, man. And you're getting him down here as like quarterback 23 or 24. I can't really remember where he was at off the board, but let's see. I mean, Brock Purdy's quarterback 22. So he was drafted a couple quarterbacks before that. So you're getting him in the 20s. I think he's going to be a value for your teams this year. And I know Kenny Pickett is even lower on Sleeper. Right now on Sleeper, he's being drafted as quarterback 24. So he is lower on Sleeper than he is on here on Underdog. So we are up next. Man, I kind of wish we could take Purdy, but I am gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with a Adam Thielen. We have a few picks left, 4 picks left. If I don't, 4 picks. So we will go 1 tight end, 1 quarterback, and then probably 2 running backs to finish this off. But so far, this is what our lineup is looking like: Jared Goff, Derek Carr, Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Antonio Gibson, Rashad Penny, Keenan Allen, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Michael Thomas, Rashee Rice, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson. Brett says Thielen looked solid last game. Yeah, man. I mean, can we click on his player card? Yeah, we can click on his player card. Because I think there was a blurb about it. Maybe not. Maybe we can't click on his card anymore. But in the last preseason game, he did catch a touchdown from Bryce Young. Obviously, that wide receiver room is still up for debate, I guess, on who you think could lead it. We've talked about Mingo. We've talked about Shark. We've talked about Thielen. Thielen could lead the team in receptions, and if he does, obviously, that's pretty good for fantasy football if you play in a PPR league. And this is half point scoring, but maybe Thielen is the touchdown guy. Maybe that's just what he is, because he has been a touchdown guy in the past for the Minnesota Vikings. But after Thielen, A-Chain goes off the board. I thought about A-Chain, but we already had some Week 10 buys with Rashad Penny on our team. And then it was Jeff Wilson, Dante Foreman, Jaden Reed, Michael Gallup, Alec Pierce, Tyler Conklin, Dawson Knox, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and then Rashid Shaheed. So we're back up on the clock. Honestly, man, I guess we'll wait for Bryce Young. But I think we might go with a Greg Dulcich here as the backup tight end. So we got that out of the way. 2 running backs and a quarterback left for this team. Just like that. I don't mind a Bryce Young. We could stack him with Thielen, obviously. I don't mind a Desmond Ridder. Well, he does have the same bye week as Derek Carr, so we will shoot for Young. I guess we could go with Ryan Tannehill too. Don't mind that. If Brock Purdy's there at our next pick, if he's still there, I'm gonna say screw the bye because the value is getting too good on Brock Purdy. Where if he is there with our next pick, I have to take him. So after Dulcich, we did have Hunter Henry. Then you had Zamir White, Kendre Miller. Yeah, man, I don't know if we really got through the rest of those roster cuts, but I don't think there really was anything else that was like really surprising for the most part. I mean, Brett brought it up in here. He said the Bam Zonovan Knight, he was cut. And then as I was going through the rest of them. I guess like another one that was somewhat interesting was the Greedy Williams. Greedy Williams was cut from the Eagles, and he played cornerback. He was a highly drafted corner a few years back. But it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams shake out and which of these guys get picked up right away on other rosters. And Brett says, you think there's any chance that Brock Purdy just declines and you think it was an outlier year? I think there's a chance. I think the reality of it, though, is that Kyle Shanahan, his system is built to support a guy like Brock Purdy. Obviously, the UCL injury is a little bit worrisome, but they've committed to him as the guy. So at this point, like, he is going to just kind of have to be treated as the guy. But I think you should view him as a QB2. He's not a QB1. I know War on Let's Talk Dynasty, my co-host, he's been very, very high on Brock Purdy in the past. I just don't think Brock Purdy is that elite. I think he's a solid NFL quarterback, and you see he's still on the board here. So we do have to take that value here with Brock Purdy. So we are going to get Brock Purdy to close this draft out. Not to close it out, but to close out that quarterback room for us. Which does mean hopefully Derek Carr does not get injured. Because if Derek Carr gets injured, we're not going to have a quarterback on week 9 if Derek Carr gets injured. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But Brett says your top 5 coaches in the league, because you brought up Shanahan. I'll give you 5 in no particular order. I think obviously we have to include Belichick, we have to include McVay, we have to include Reed. I think those 3 right now are in there. I like Shanahan. I like LaFleur. Maybe those would be 5. I like Sirianni. Maybe I'm missing somebody off the top of my head. But those guys come to mind right away. I think those guys come to mind right away. Doug Peterson's a good coach too. I'm scrolling down this to look at some of this. Sean Payton is a good coach. I forgot about Sean Payton. Tomlin, Harbaugh, yep, 2 good coaches there. I think I have a clear top 3 though. I think my clear top 3 is those 3 that I named: McVay, Belichick, and Reed. That's my clear top 3. Man, I kind of wish we waited on. I kind of wish we didn't take Purdy. I wish we would have actually took. I wish we would have actually took a running back. We could have took like a Gus Edwards and got Bryce Young down here potentially. I guess if this guy takes Bryce Young, then we would have been fine. But I wish we kind of would have took one. I think Mike Tomlin has to be in that top 5. He has to be. Let's look. Are people getting too high on this guy? I feel like people are getting high on him, but I'm gonna buy into the hype right now. Deuce Vaughn. Brett says F. Sean Payton talking mess about the OC. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. Baby Deuce. What do you think, Brett? You like Deuce? You like Deuce Vaughn? He literally is a baby. I mean, he is small, man. He is an outlier at the position. If he's successful, he's an outlier. It's like borderline Darren Sproles. I'm hoping with our last pick here we can get I'm hoping we can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's my pick. If we can't, I guess I'll go I don't know. There's a couple guys we could go. Maybe a Keontae Ingram or a Sean Tucker. I like both of those guys as backups. Said I do like him, but I just think his size is going to just be against him his whole career. Yeah, I agree, man. But he did look solid. But it's tough to tell, right? Because in the preseason, like these guys are playing against backups. It's backups playing against backups. So like if you look good, you look good. But can Deuce Vaughn do that when he's trying to get through a hole that's being pinched by Myles Garrett? Like, can he do that? I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to tell. Clyde Edwards-Helaire does get picked, so we get snatched on him, which means maybe we go. I don't know, man. This is tough. These running backs suck. I think a Keontae Ingram, maybe a Zach Moss, but he's gonna be out 6 weeks. I don't want to wait 6 weeks. Sean Tucker might be a good dynasty hold. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think White's gonna be fine. I think White's gonna be good. We're on the clock. I will go Keontae Ingram here. If you say, you said it, Brett. If the Cardinals start tanking, and James Conner gets hurt, or he just does actually get hurt, Keontae Ingram could be the lead back, and he could get all the carries for the most part for that team, because he's good enough that you can plug him in as a starter, but he's not good enough that you're going to win a lot of football games with Keontae Ingram. But what do you guys think of the team, man? We did build the team out. Double hero RB with a bully tight end, which is classified as one of the top 3 tight ends for me. So we did end up going Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Keenan Allen, TJ Hawkinson, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Michael Thomas, Antonio Gibson, Rashad Penny, Jared Goff, Rashee Rice, Derek Carr, Adam Thielen, Greg Dulcich, Brock Purdy, which I wish we would have swapped this and probably went like a Gus Edwards, and then instead of Deuce Vaughn, we went Bryce Young. That's what I would do differently about this draft. But if you're messing up in round 16, 17, and 18, you had a pretty decent draft. But that would be what I swap on this one is we go Gus Edwards here, and then here we take Bryce Young. But then we got Keontae Ingram, and then that was that. Brett says, never seen you in a jersey other than purple and gold. Who is that? Look, man, I said it at the beginning of the show. Trey Lance, in memorial for Trey Lance, because the career is pretty much done at this point, man. He's a backup for the next few years, and then maybe he gets a chance at a starting job in 2025. But we got the Trey Lance jersey on. I figured I never really have worn it, and I don't really have a reason to wear it anymore. I mean, this is one of those jerseys that it's like, this might be the last time you ever see me in this, Brett. So first and last, all in one. But I am planning to get a couple more jerseys for just video purposes, I guess, just to wear them in videos. I think they look good and all that. Brett says you should burn it. Hey, man, I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful because I don't necessarily feel like all of it was Trey Lance's fault. But it is what it is, man. We drafted Brock Purdy today anyway, so it all came around full circle. That is all I have for you guys today, though. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you're in here live on stream, watching the replay, whatever it is, make sure you leave a like before you head on out, because that is the best way to show our channel support, the best free way to show our channel support. And I do want to advertise our Discord. We have a free Discord, and we've just revamped it, so it looks like totally brand new. It's set up to go for the season. Been helping guys with start sit decisions, been helping guys with draft picks, been helping guys with whole bunch of other stuff. So go ahead and join that Discord. It is direct access to me. Dope stuff going on over there. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to do one more live stream before I head out of town on Wednesday. So tomorrow, about the same time, we're going to do one more live stream. Hopefully there's another tournament that Underdog comes out with. If not, we will be doing the Best Ball Mania 4, which is a $25 million or $15 million prize pool, something like that. I know that's a big $10 million difference in the two numbers that I just said, but a lot of money either ways. I will see you guys on the next video. I don't have anything else for you guys today. Peace out.